we took a wrong path some 300 or 400 years ago with the Industrial Revolution and became enamored of science and machines and developed the machine metaphor, which says that everything in the world has cause and effect. Well, for 400 years, we've been trying to create these organizations and been pulling the levers. And what do we have?
And the challenge is moving away from the notion of here's what the solution needs to be, to here's the journey of discovery to find the solution that works for any system and any organization.
Eu tenho visto nos últimos anos no mundo do trabalho, todo mundo olhando muito para números, olhando muito para tentar planejar cada passo para chegar em resultados, pensamentos e ações lineares, tentando controlar coisas que talvez não deem para ser controladas.
It's to be accountable for what happens in organizations, in life, and on our planet. And I think that's the challenge for today, is for people to be able to step up and do that. I think it's risky, it's scary, it's fraught with danger, we think. And so, but it's in the moment, I believe, what's necessary. I think you see more and more of it.
Eu vejo que tem uma vontade pela parte das pessoas de buscar modos diferentes de viver, de trabalhar, mas que ainda está todo mundo um pouco perdido quanto a isso, sobre o que fazer, qual é o primeiro passo que eu vou dar, e o que vai acontecer depois, e ficar pensando sempre no, mas o que vai acontecer, e não, talvez, tentar mudar.
I don't imagine in my lifetime that people won't need businesses and organizations. We do. They're essential. And because they're essential, we need to demand more of them in terms of social responsibility, in terms of commitment not just to profit, but to people, to the planet, and so our expectations of them are changing. Maybe their expectations of us are as well.
I found a group of people that are worried of first understanding what's really happening in the context.
They embrace complexity where others oftentimes run away from it.
Y lo que veo es confusión en el sentido de que no tenemos respuestas porque probablemente no nos hacemos las preguntas adecuadas.
C'è stata una transizione da un'idea del lavoro meccanicistica di stampo industriale, in cui quello che conta sono numeri, misurazioni, efficientamenti.
Io avevo una storia in cui altri mi dicevano cosa fare, in che direzione crescere, cosa sviluppare o altro. Non erano domande che mi facevo.
Ha un paradigma prima più emergente, più basato sulla lettura di quello che sta emergendo in tempo reale e la maestria nel muoversi in questo spazio, in questo campo emergente.
Però io cosa voglio? Cosa mi interessa davvero?
En esta década me gustaría ver a las personas dentro de las organizaciones libres.
E poi, a cavallo di questo cambiamento, un secondo cambiamento nel modo in cui si intendono i confini dell'organizzazione.
Ok, quindi si può fare questa cosa, quindi si può mettere su un progetto del genere.
10 years ago, after my graduation, I was approaching many companies, and I approached Cocoon.
I think it was maybe 2012, 2013, something like it. And at the time, I didn't really understand. I didn't really know what Cocoon was doing.
I jumped in because of the people.
The main trigger for me, the main driver, was about how bold the overall value proposition and an organization was.
So Cocoon was born out of realizing that we have been told a lie about how life works, how work works.
Quello che ho potuto sperimentare è il fatto di poter costruire un'organizzazione che credesse pienamente in questi valori.
And they just built the company as they at the time they would like the company to be.
We wanted to create a space for people to break free from their life.
And it was so tangible, so we had the tangible model of what we are going to do for the following 6 months.
My first reaction was not it is crazy, actually it was, oh, finally.
And it was amazing, and I said, okay, it works.
I'm hopeful that there will be that increasing recognition and the need to treat people humanely.
Questo penso che sia il futuro, rendere più umano il mondo del lavoro.
Un pochino il mio motto è far meno cose e farle meglio, e mi aspetto, almeno da me stessa, che nei prossimi 10 anni questo sia applicabile.
Pues es verdad que tenemos retos importantes, ¿no?
Più leadership diffusa, più partecipazione delle persone, più senso di appartenenza delle persone rispetto all'organizzazione in cui sono, più senso di poter contribuire, di poter avere un impatto.
A mí lo que me gustaría es que seamos capaces todos de hacer frente a los retos que nos vienen por delante, ¿no?
Se, ed era il caso nostro, hai già fatto l'esperienza di un'azienda verticale e questa esperienza ti ha deluso, la vedi non funzionale, la vedi non adatta per le sfide di un'azienda del XXI secolo, stai cercando altro.
It's the hope that we together can bring to this world, the hope that we can make a real difference, make a real change in society, to release the potential within humanity.
E spero proprio che sia questa qua la cosa che nei prossimi anni mi aspetti me e le persone che lavorano con me.
Moving away from the notion of here's what the solution needs to be.
O que fazer? Qual o primeiro passo que eu vou dar?
I think it's risky, it's scary.
When you start joining Cocoon, the first thing that it's a surprise for you is all is open for you.
It came up as very important in Cocoon to just be the place where people can play with their potential, with their being.
There is always something we can do in all situations and contests. Always. I think that this is the best lesson I learned in my story with the Cocoon.
We don't actually technically make plans, we just decide directions twice per year together. So, and where to head towards. For
example, we don't do budgeting so that we are able to see and catch emergent opportunities, and so we allocate resources in real time.
The fact that everybody could join the governance of the company just with a presentation letter and being operational since day one, this is so bold that still after 10 years it's very hard to explain, and it's very hard to make everybody else believe that this really happened.
We have in open governance a lot of stuff to do, and you will just explore, see what is very interesting for you or where you think you can bring value, and you will decide if you want to jump there and start working and collaborate with others.
I continue to be the CEO of my company, and I started to contribute to Cocoon at the same time to bring value in Cocoon and to understand if there was something I could bring in my company.
So we set up the main dynamics, the main principle, and then we let the space free to grow up with the people and with the life.
It's not an easy path.
Sometimes it was not, Cocoon was not ready. We needed more time. We needed to do other things first. We need to grow together as a group.
I think that is a very powerful exercise of trust. Trust in the system and in the people that are in the system.
Even if there was pain, even if there was something to improve, it was never the end of the world. Actually, it was the beginning of a new phase, of a new world. And this gave me a lot of energy, a lot of happiness and hope.
What I discovered is that I can handle uncertainty. I didn't know before.
Para mí Cocoon ha sido un soplo de aire fresco. Me ha abierto la mente, me ha ayudado a abrir la mente.
La mia esperienza in Cocoon Pro è stata dettata da un forte stupore.
E quindi hai tanti punti interrogativi e in qualche modo cerchi delle risposte, e in Cocoon Pro non trovi delle risposte.
Nella preparazione è stato tutto nuovo, è stato tutto veramente quasi un salto nel buio, perché per me il loro modo di approcciarsi ai workshop, ai lavori che dovevamo intraprendere insieme era assolutamente sconosciuto.
We heard about this amazing company that was trying new things and thinking new thoughts and really pushing the envelope, and we thought, we need to get them along.
Cocoon per me è stato come avere un paio di occhiali magici, occhiali nuovi con i quali ho potuto vedere meglio il cambiamento che era in corso.
I think it's really important to not just to have those great ideas, but equally to be able to land them in a way that works for organizations and is practical and impactful for them.
Non trovi mai la risposta fatta, però trovi tanti strumenti che ci hanno aiutato nel generare le risposte che cercavamo, le soluzioni che cercavamo.
Il team l'ho trovato completamente rivoluzionato al termine dei nostri incontri.
Mi sono fidata, ho preso questo piccolo rischio, ma sono stata ripagata 100 milioni di volte, perché il mio progetto rivolto a persone esterne, quindi estremamente importante per me, è riuscito benissimo.
Me ha ayudado mucho porque me ha ayudado a transformar ecosistemas, que al final para eso estamos, ¿no? Para transformar ecosistemas vitales.
Si può fare, cioè creare un'organizzazione che sia allineata con quella che è la propria identità, con i propri valori e al tempo stesso rimanere competitivi nel mercato, prosperare, avere successo nel mercato è una cosa possibile.
I think it made people realize, become aware of the potential that it exists within themselves personally and also within an organization.
Es el lugar donde puedo usar mis tres cerebros, el racional, el emotivo y el intuitivo, donde está permitido experimentar, jugar, divertirse, y donde las barreras quedan de lado, donde no hay barreras, no hay techo.
He encontrado gente que están locos, como yo, que se plantean cambiar el mundo y experimentar, sin miedo a hacer cosas diferentes, pero con una sólida base de lo que significan las personas, las organizaciones, la naturaleza, de lo que es la vida.
The world needs people who comes alive doing what they love to do, and if you find a space where you can do collectively with those who resonates with the same impulse that you are nurturing from the inside, that makes alive also.
Es un sueño grande, pero realmente creo que sí, que necesitamos un cambio de conciencia.
If you look at nature, nature organizes everything on entirely different principles than we've tried to organize society the last 400 years.
If you don't see the whole and understand the complexity of it and understand the interdependency of the pieces and the parts, and if you don't lean into that as opposed to try to deconstruct it, you can't deconstruct a complex system without destroying it.
Eu quero ver as empresas mais abertas a novas formas de trabalhar, a novas formas de pensar.
Induce means to persuade or otherwise control or to get somebody to do something. Educe, E-D-U-C-E, means to bring forth that which is already inherent and yet hasn't taken form.
Pessoas que estão fazendo diferente, que estão buscando essas novas formas de trabalhar, de viver e de conectar o que muita gente vê como separado.
I have to be willing to show up with my whole humanity.
It's now very much more of an interdependent ecological system of relationships versus what we've had in the past, which is very segmented, very fragmented, and we've had enough of that. We need something that's much more coherent.
Ways of living our days, the way we hold our hope or our grief or our dreams or whatever, all of that has to shift. It all has to shift.
and there's a real opportunity to reconnect those dots into something that interacts and is interdependent and actually vibrant, and vitality is restored to all, and that's incredibly important right now.
Cambiare il significato stesso del lavoro.
Le persone si sono sentite in grado di approcciare un modo diverso di vivere.
Ogni volta che ci siamo domandati perché le persone non funzionassero, ci dovevamo fare la domanda del perché quel sistema in cui le persone erano immerse non stava funzionando.
La prima sfida è abbandonare l'ego, imparare a lasciare andare, imparare a rinunciare a qualcosa.
Bisogna che le persone siano coraggiose, vogliano cambiare, vogliano mettersi in discussione e vogliano veramente andare da un'altra parte, perché è lì che poi le cose accadono.
Puoi trovare persone che camminano con te e che sposano un'idea così forte di cambiamento sul modo di lavorare, ma anche sul modo di vivere.
Abbracciare e addirittura ricercare modi diversi di comprendere come il mondo, come le cose funzionano anche nel lavoro, significa poter immaginare risultati nuovi, diversi da quelli che sapevo immaginare ieri, come individuo e come organizzazione, e quindi poterli raggiungere, poter lavorare per fare cose che fino a ieri non potevo neanche immaginare.
Happiness is vital guidance. At the intersection between each of us and everything else. Between our deep being and our happening in the world. Let's follow it. Careful work is now needed to help produce what is finally ripe to happen.